Welcome to Bed Crime Stories Podcast. I'm your host, T, and I hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world. I decided to rewatch Adventures with Purpose's remarkable video about their journey to finding Kiely Rodni and her CRV, and to do so with a very attentive eye. Here are the revelations from the first part of the video. Keep in mind that I'm looking at every word, every gesture, every pause. There's so much to be found in this video. Tomorrow I'll share my thoughts on the second half of the video. First, Adventures with Purpose said there were 200 to 300 or so people at this end of summer high school party in the Tahoe National Forest. I'm wondering if they received that 200 to 300 number directly from law enforcement, or if that came from the stories floating around YouTube land. I would love to know if law enforcement knows for a fact that many people attended this party. AWP also confirmed what we've been hearing, and that is that law enforcement is having a hard time getting information out of these hundreds of partygoers. Per AWP's newly released video, local Truckee divers entered the Prosser Creek Reservoir on Wednesday and searched near the shoreline, looking for signs of Kiely's CRV. How in the heck did they miss the CRV at that location when it was just under 14 feet of water and only 55 feet from the shore? I know that we've all been asking this question for the past week, but I can't help saying it again. It boggles the mind. It appears that the water is relatively calm in this man-made reservoir and relatively clear near the shoreline. How could it happen like that? AWP also stated in the video that the police said that Kiely last spoke to her friends and family shortly after midnight on August 6th. I'm not sure if their wording is correct there. They said spoke, and my understanding is that Kiely texted her mother to ask for a curfew extension. I'm not doing this to criticize AWP and question their information. I'm just trying to analyze if they received these details directly from law enforcement. We heard it was a text message. They're saying spoke. Is it that they're just using that word, incorrectly to refer to she last communicated with? I don't know, but I'm pointing it out. When discussing Kiely's phone and the last ping, AWP said Kiely's phone was turned off and then pinged one last time at 12:33 a.m. Turned off to me implies that someone took the time to shut the phone down. That does not mean that the battery died. So if we take this information literally, then someone deliberately turned the phone off. I doubt Kiely would have done that. To me, this implies that if someone did intervene in Kiely's life that night and early morning, that person would perhaps be the one taking control of Kiely's phone and turning it off, preventing her from communicating with the outside world. If so, we need to know who and why. We would also need to know where this person or persons turned up. Was he or she or they at the party? Or did someone hang out there watching until the party ended and then surprise Kiely when she was alone preparing to drive home? Just speculating here, we can do that. That's what we do in true crime. My brain is trying to imagine how Kiely's CRV and possibly Kiely and another male person went from the area near the Prosser Creek Reservoir over to Boca. Did someone confront her in the darkness with a weapon? If Kiely was the blonde girl with the car with the dead battery, were her strange questions to the tow truck driver so bizarre and ridiculous because she was trying desperately to convey a distress signal? And why was she trying to get away from the male? That male would have had to have some weapon or something to terrify her so that she didn't feel safe telling the tow truck driver that she desperately needed to escape the mail. It's like with Abby and Libby in the Delphi case. Something kept them from running off in different directions and trying to save at least one of their lives. Bridge Guy had to have had a weapon to control two people. Moving on to the tow truck driver, Doug Bishop of AWP described this driver, Nick, as a longtime fan of Adventures with Purpose. I'm wondering if this guy reached out to AWP well before they turned up in Truckee, California. Also, let me state that AWP met Nick in the parking lot of a Best Buy store in Reno, Nevada. It was not in Truckee. A lot of people have tried to dismiss Nick as a fraudster on the basis of there being no Best Buy in Truckee. Let me now dispel that. The Best Buy was in Reno, Nevada. I have to say that I find Doug Bishop and Nick Wren of AWP fascinating to watch. First, they're cool-looking dudes. They just are. The guy with the long beard, Doug, and Nick Wren just looks like a tough guy who could get you through any situation, any crisis. Second, the emotion, particularly in Nick's eyes, is so palpable. I think he's an amazing addition to the AWP crew. You could see in his whole being the tsunami of emotions and upset that were coursing through his veins when he emerged from the depths after carefully diving around Kiely's CRV. Now, the tow truck driver, that's hard to say, tow truck driver, whose name was Nick. It can be confusing because we have two Nicks here, Nick the driver and Nick the diver. So the driver, Nick, said that he got a call for a dead battery. Now, he could not recall if it was Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I would imagine a tow truck driver gets so many calls that it's hard to keep them all straight, especially when it comes to which day he serviced a particular vehicle. The people and the times probably all blend in, although this car incident was very bizarre if we are to believe Nick the driver. You'd think he would remember that one call, but he did say that his girlfriend knows for a fact that occurred on Saturday. Nick says he called the car's owner before showing up to the car, but no one picked up. Per Nick, the blonde girl, who was the owner of the car, told him that she used the male's phone to call. Now, Nick just refers to the car as the vehicle. He never states that it was Kiely's silver CRV. AWP put a photo of Kiely's silver CRV up on the screen when Nick is saying this, but nobody, not Nick the driver, not Doug Bishop, not Nick the diver, no one says outright that it was Kiely's CRV. They imply that, but they do not state it. So this call was to Boca, which is north of Prosser Creek Reservoir. Nick describes this female as acting very strangely and asking how to properly snap a seatbelt into place. I really wish this Nick person would have said something to the blonde, even if it was just, "Are you serious?" Maybe that would have shaken some fruit in the way of information out of the female. So Nick said that the female stated she was there, meaning in Boca, all night. Nick said that she was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she was there all night. Now, on that information, I have to say that it sounds sus. I don't see the logic in she was wearing a sweatshirt, therefore she was there all night. Do you? If the tow truck driver is lying, this is one statement that I would call him on. There's no logic to it. He also describes the sweatshirt as light gray. The Lana Del Rey sweatshirt we've been told belonged to Kiely's friend Meg's is definitely charcoal color. It's not black, but it's not light gray either. I don't see how you can confuse light gray from dark charcoal gray. Right after this Nick Driver person talks about the light gray sweatshirt, he goes straight to the male who was there and his black San Francisco baseball cap. And Nick is very precise. He says, flat top ball cap facing forward. Who says that? I would have just said the guy was wearing a black San Francisco baseball cap. Why was Nick being so specific? Is that showing us a true statement? Or did the detective ask him those questions when he met with him, and is that why he's saying all this like that? Or is he elaborating because it's not true? Now, I'm not accusing him of anything. He could be a stand-up guy. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Where are the behavior panel guys when you need them? Behavior panel guys, please come on my show and go through this with me. Nick said the male was a thinner built guy with a white bro tank. If the female is wearing a sweatshirt, and we know it gets cold there at night, around maybe the low 40s or mid 40s, why is this guy wearing a tank top? Seems odd when the female is sporting warmer clothes. Just an observation. Nick also states that the guy had either freckles or acne on both sides of his face. Freckles and acne, in my mind, are two very different beasts. This call was around 11 a.m. or noonish. That means the sun was out. Now, Kiely's ex-boyfriend does have some moles and other marks on his face. Does the driver know about the case? Has he seen photos of Kiely's ex? I'm trying again to play devil's advocate here. Yesterday I was jumping to conclusions. Today, I want to deliberately pull back and really break it down. So Nick said that every time this blonde female got close to him, the male would come over. Then the blonde would head to the other side as if trying to get away from the guy. Nick said that he felt that the blonde female was either hungover or just had a really rough day. So what he was saying was that she did not appear to be high or intoxicated. He said she looked distressed. I seriously think the weird questions from this young lady and the trying to distance herself from the male and the distressed look on her face all should have sparked something in the driver. I'm not blaming him, but I think he should have realized right then and there that something was amiss, and he should have at least asked her if she was okay. Nick said that he didn't realize anything was up until a week later when he saw a poster of missing Kiely Rodni and realized she was gone. Nick said, then everything spiraled out of control and I got in contact with the detective. I would like to ask this Nick guy what he meant by everything spiraled out of control. Now, at this point in the video, the AWP guys are shown getting into their boats. Then Doug Bishop says, I'm a firm believer in second chances. However, some things don't deserve forgiveness. Maliciousness does not deserve forgiveness. Cold-blooded, cold-heartedness, taking the daughter, taking the life of a 16-year-old deserves zero forgiveness. End quote. Right then and there, Doug is shifting into this is not an accident to this might be foul play. It cues us viewers to perk up our ears and to start considering dark possibilities. I'm going to leave it there for now. Tune in tomorrow when I share my thoughts on the second half of the 47-minute full video that Adventures with Purpose put out. I will tell you it is jam-packed with information and it begs a second and even third watching. Adventures with Purpose really is an amazing organization. I do believe they did the right thing, and they did contact the people in Kiely's family whose names they were given as contacts. It would appear that they were not given the names of Kiely's mother, biological father, and maternal grandfather. That's the way I'm taking it. I think that they contacted the people whose names they were given, and perhaps the family wanted to give the mother and the father a little distance and not have to do the back and forth communication with Adventures with Purpose. So that is what I think happened. And that would mean that Adventures with Purpose and Steve, the PI from SF Investigates, were both telling the truth about what they did, who told who, what, and when. And it also appears that the message allegedly from Kiely's mother to Adventures with Purpose appears to be a fake. So let's take this all in with rational minds, deep breaths, and no witch hunt reactive emotions. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, please do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel.